He can take instructions well.
Today will be a day to remember for the rest of your life. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is excited to present the Heart of a Hall of Famer program connected by Extreme Networks. With over 100 Hall of Famers participating, we have reached 47 states and countries all over the world, sharing the message that football is more than a game and can teach Americans important life values like commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty.
You have to make right decisions even when nobody's watching you.
Well, respect is not just given out. It's not handed out like a brochure. It's earned.
Today, you are presented with an opportunity to meet and learn from one of the greatest football players of all time. But more important than that, the chance to see that their Hall of Fame life wasn't given to them. They didn't roll out the bed great. They put the work in, on the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, in their communities. They made themselves a Hall of Famer on and off the field.
Your feet can't take you where your mind's never been.
Because you can make it, but it's just gonna take a little hard work and some effort and the drive and determination.
And today, you will learn you can do the same thing they did. You don't have to have a gold jacket or a bronze bust to make a difference in the lives of others. It's your decision whether you want to be a successful student, son, daughter, brother, or sister.
If attitudes are contagious, is your attitude worth catching?
It's integrity as well, because when you decide to pursue something and you don't quit, that says a lot about you.
Commitment to excellence. We can all aspire to be the best.
Welcome to a once-in-a-lifetime program, the Heart of a Hall of Famer program, connected by Extreme Networks.
Thank you, guys. The lesson is simple. The lesson is simple. Bring your will and perseverance to everything worth doing. When the reward is sublime, the risks are higher, and you must embrace the uncomfortable to go into that rarefied air of excellence. Our family foundation supports a variety of charities. We believe in our young generation. We believe in our special ops soldiers and their families. Our motto is what you give will grow and what you keep will perish. My hope and prayer for all of us tonight is that we will always possess a generous spirit of giving, love, and compassion for each other.
All right, and with that, I want to welcome everyone to those that are tuning in to Ben Davis High School here in Indianapolis, Indiana, for our latest installment of our Heart of Hall of Famer series, today featuring Hall of Famer Mr. Morten Andersen. And my name is Jerry Shockey. I'm the Senior Director of Youth Education Leadership at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I'll be moderating today's program. And so our mission at the Hall of Fame is to honor the greatest of the game, to preserve its history, to promote its values, and to celebrate excellence together. And our values are commitment, courage, honesty, integrity, and respect. And we're going to be talking about those here today through Mr. Andersen's career as we go throughout here. And so I'm excited. I'm hoping that you guys are, the students that are tuning in across the country, the students that are here live, to be talking about these values and how they not only made him a great person on the field, but more importantly, a Hall of Famer off the field. And so, however, before we get started to the program here today, there are a number of folks we have to thank. And first and foremost, we have to thank our longtime partners, now 10 years on this program, our partners at Extreme Networks. They're the ones that make this possible, make this a free opportunity for students all across the country. So thank you to our friends at Extreme Networks. Thank you for the admin and everyone here, Chris, others that help make this possible here at Ben Davis High School. Appreciate your support and all the students and teachers that are tuned in across the country. Teachers, thank you for taking time out of your days and your classrooms to connect your students in here as well. And then lastly, our students. You're the as I always say, you're the stars of the show here today. You are the ones that are going to be driving most of the program here with your questions. We'll be going to questions here live and then sprinkle in some questions across the country as well as those come in. And so a few notes is, first of all, let me remind schools that are connected in here to make sure to keep your mics muted until you are called upon. If you are watching us on YouTube Live, make sure you get your questions in the comment section. Make sure you leave your name, your school, and where you're from, and with the question, and we'll do our best to interject that in here today. You will see me kind of on my phone and writing stuff down. That's because we're in communication as a team. If we get a question from the live audience or something like that, I'm getting a text here. So if you see me, I'm not on like Facebook or something like that. I'm actually paying attention and engaged with the program. And then no matter where you're watching at, whether it's here, whether it's over Zoom, whether it's on YouTube Live, make sure to post your photos, your videos online on your social platforms and tag at ProFootballHOF and use the hashtag Hoff Values. And who knows, we might even retweet or reshare that post of yours. So now that we've got kind of the housekeeping notes out of the way, let me get to just a quick introduction to our special guest, Mr. Morten Andersen. And he was a 3-time All-Pro, second all-time leading scorer. At one time was number 1, 7-time Pro Bowler, 25 NFL seasons, and few do this. He was NFL's all-decade team of 2 decades in the 1980s and 1990s. So please join me in welcoming truly one of the greats and great men of the game from the class of 2017, Hall of Famer, Mr. Morten Andersen.
Thank you.
And Morten, thank you.
Great to be here.
Thank you for being here today. And is there anything you want to open up the program with?
Well, I mean, without Ben Davis High School, I'm not so sure that I have a gold jacket, you know, and as Coach said in the introduction, that in 1977, I came to this country from Denmark. I did not speak English very well. I kept saying if I had made a mistake, I would say my bag, and nobody would ever correct me. So I went like for almost a year saying my bag. So finally, a guy came up and go, I think you meaning my bad. So those were little nuances. My favorite soup was lentil soup, but at the time I didn't know how to say that, so I said lint soup. So these were the lost in translation type of things. But without Ben Davis in 1977, and we did have a good team. We were 11-1, and you know, went all the way to the semi-state, and we did lose to Evansville on 14-13. But this is where my American dream started, and I had never put foot to ball. I didn't know what football was all about, but Bob Wilper, the head coach at the time, and my host family, the Baker family, who lived right over here in Chapel Glen, said, "Hey, come out and try and see if you can hit the ball." And the whole team lined up, and I was basically auditioning, and the ball flew high and far. And you know, I had a team, and I think what being involved with this high school experience gave me was an immediate access to not only the language but friends. But I couldn't drive. I didn't have a driver's license, so people helped me there, and you know, it was just such an easy way to be integrated into American society, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the 10 months I had at Ben Davis High School. Despite some of the cultural differences and mistakes I made along the way, it took me about a week to find my class, because I came from a school of 200 students, and I think now 3,200 students here, 2,800. It's a big school. So it took me a while, but without Ben Davis, and then on to Michigan State, became an All-American there, and then drafted in the 4th round. It's been a heck of a journey. It really has, and it all started right here. I'm grateful. I really am, and so uh, we can get into some takeaways as we go, but right now I just feel gratitude for the experience I had in 1977 that set me up for success moving forward.
Okay, and did you guys hear that? Especially those that are here live. He said this like 2 or 3 times without Ben Davis. You heard them bring that up a handful of times. That can be your story. That will be your story, is without Ben Davis, the impact that this school is having on you guys. And then you guys will be able to pay it forward, so to speak, and be able to come back just as he is and instill what you've learned here into the next generation as well.
I think if I can piggyback on what you're saying and what I'm trying to say to you, and I need to read it because it's not mine. It's an excerpt from The Pursuit of Excellence, The Uncommon Behaviors of the World's Most Productive Achievers. It's Ryan Hawk. And he says, new goals don't deliver new results. New lifestyles do. And a lifestyle is not an outcome, it is a process. And as you learn shortly here, I'm all about the process. So lifestyle is not an outcome, it's a process. For this reason, all of your energy should go into building better rituals, not chasing better results. If you want a new habit, you have to fall in love with a new ritual. I think that's telling, and I think that could lead into a discussion about what does it take to be excellent? What is personal excellence? And it is to make the process so undeniably great, to immerse yourself in your everyday lives, whether you're a student athlete or you're an actor or you're a painter or you're an engineer, or whatever you are studying to become. Dial into the minute details and own them and enjoy the process. The results are going to come. The results will be there eventually. Luck favors the exceptionally prepared. That's something I truly believe in. So you just have to, I said in my speech, I don't know if you guys caught it, but in order to go into that rarefied air of excellence, you have to embrace suck. You have to embrace the world of suck. It's a military term. It has to do with basic training and being, getting up at 6 a.m. and doing boot camp and physical training. But you have to embrace the world of suck. It's not when your hands are above your head that you improve. It's when your back's against the wall. And in the moment, that may sound kind of, that's distasteful. But really, this is where you improve. And you can take where you're from, your background, and you can use that as fuel and motivation in your everyday pursuit of your excellence. And listen, I came from a foreign country. I didn't know anybody in this country. I didn't know the language. But, here I'm sitting 48 years later. I have a bus in Canton, Ohio. I have a great life, and I'm able to come and talk to you about what I feel it takes to get there. And if there's one thing I would say, like, really focus on the process, make that quality undeniable. Don't compromise. Don't compromise your values. I talk to my kids. I have 2 boys, 20 and 25, and I talk to them about their choices. Their choices they make have consequences. The decisions they make have consequences. It can be good, it can be bad. And to choose their friends wisely, it's okay to fire friends. It's okay to kick them off the roster if they're not living up to your expectations. This is okay because it's you're driving the car. So I just want to kind of emphasize that, and I think we can all individually look inside ourselves and say, yeah, there's something in my life where I can apply that. That was a long answer. But
No, that's beautiful. I love it. I love it. And you guys heard what he said too. I mean, that's the one thing that stuck out to me that you said in there. It's okay to fire friends. Like if they're not committed to your pursuit, right?
If they're not lifting you up, and if they're not kind, and if they're not helping, it's at a certain point, you sometimes you got to let go, I think.
So
not easy to do, but
yeah, it is difficult. So out of our values, when we talk about commitment, courage, honesty, integrity, and respect. Which are does one of those stand out above the others, or they all kind of?
Courage to me is so important. Courage to fail and to fail forward. Courage to do things and experience things other people are not willing to do. High achievers are willing to do things that people that are not high achievers, they won't do. They're not comfortable doing, and they'll choose not to do them. So courage to do that, and courage to be curious. Curiosity is the greatest fuel you can have in your pursuit of personal excellence. Ask questions, always be inquisitive, and always drive towards how can I make my process of living life in a big way on a daily basis. How do I do that? This is why we have teachers and parents, hopefully, that guide, but it's also where you have friends that you can emulate. You can look at your friend, and you can say, man, I'm going to drive to be like that. You're still going to be uniquely you, but it's a village and you can do it together too. So courage is my big one in those.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to go to some questions here, which is a bonus here today because the schools that are tuned in, I think we have Ohio, Michigan, and New York connected in here today, but it seems like that they don't have their microphones ready. So it sounds like we're going to go to all the questions here today from you guys, possibly maybe sprinkle in some from YouTube. So I hope you guys got a bunch of questions. I'll interject some throughout as well. So who wants to have courage?
Who wants to
have courage and be the first one to step up and ask a question? And I will repeat the question so the students that are tuned in through Zoom and YouTube, they'll be able to hear that. But you're going to step up. There we go. Look at that. Ladies are bold. Come on. Go ahead. You can stand up. Yep. Go ahead.
Hey, Maya.
Did you ever have performance anxiety? And if so, how did you deal with it?
The question was about performance anxiety. If you ever had that.
Yeah, of course I did. In the beginning, especially, the first, you sit down and relax. I would say in my first 7 years of my professional career, I had what I would consider youthful oblivion. In other words, I just kind of winged it. I kind of just went and I had talents, but I didn't have a structure. And so I didn't have a sideline routine. I didn't have an online routine. I didn't have a pre-kick routine, and I didn't have a flow routine in the act of performing. My thing is very unique because it's over in 1.15 seconds from snap to kick. It's over. So how do you prepare for something that's so fast and has to be so precise? And that's where, after 7 years, when I hit a performance plateau, because you either get better or worse as an athlete, nothing stays the same. In '89, I hit a performance plateau, and I was like, "Oh man, this could end poorly. My career could be shortened. I'm only 7 years in. Now I ended up playing 18 more years, but the reason I played 18 more years was I started putting everything into structure. I started cognitive intervention, which was a mental training exercise protocol that I did, where I would visualize kicking. I would give myself scenarios. 38 left hash, first kick of the game, 42 right hash before the half. I would see myself like a video game. When you're not really good at mental training, it's third person. But then you push the button and you go first person and you're in the car. That's when it gets really good. That's when you can visualize yourself right here and you can do it in real time and slow motion. That's when you start doing things that are unconscious competence. That's Michael Jordan with closed eyes hitting a free throw. That's you don't have to think about it. That's a unique place to be. I'll give an example. And this has to do with performance anxiety and to your question. NFC championship game, we're playing the Minnesota Vikings, and we're down by 7 points. We tie the game, and we go into overtime. Now, back and forth, back and forth. This is to go to the Super Bowl. It's a big deal, 1998. We're driving down the field, and the night before in the hotel, I had written out my menu of kicks, my protocols. The last one was 38 left hash to win the game in overtime. What do you think came up? 38 left hash in overtime. So I had already made this kick, but my teammates are holding their hands and praying to their God, because they're not what? They're not driving the car. I go out there. I knew that they were going to call timeout. They did. This gave me more time to line up. And then everything slowed down. And the 1.15 second just seemed like an eternity. The ball was big. And as soon as I hit it, I turned around, I started running. I didn't even look at the ball. And if the goalpost had been 2 feet wide, the kick would have been good still. So you can mentally rehearse things and force them to happen. Performance anxiety has to do with breathing, but it also has to do about preparation and preparing your mind to go to a place that's very distasteful. To be a kicker in the NFL or at any level, it's unpleasant most of the time. It's kind of like a cornerback being out there on an island by himself. You got to go man. It can be uncomfortable. You have a receiver that knows exactly what he's going to do, and you have to react, and you don't want to bite on the stop and go and all these other things. So there's great risk in the high performance business, but if you have the courage to go, then you can tackle any of it. And performance anxiety is really just about knowing a level of knowing and then breathing into it. Never hold your breath right before you, like when I kicked right before I was gonna go to the ball, I exhaled, because if I do this, now I'm tense, my shoulders are up. But if I exhale, now I can release it, and the zen and the power of the whole body can go through the ball, and I can deliver the ball on target, and we win and we go to the Super Bowl, which is exactly what happened. Long answer to a question. But
No, I love it. You talked about your 25-year journey. You talked about 7 years in, and then you ended up going on to 18 more, but you had some more hiccups there.
Yeah.
Found yourself unemployed for a little while. Can you talk about, again, it deals with preparation. You were prepared.
Well,
when you got the call.
this was embracing the world of soccer, because I was coming off a good year with the Vikings in 2004. And in 2005, I'm thinking, I'm going to get a call right away for my 24th season. And the phone didn't ring for 20 months. And I'm in a public park now. I didn't have a place to work out because I wasn't with a team at the time. So I had to go to a public park. I had to kind of bribe the county workers to cut the grass for me and open the gate. I was in there in my Kenny Stabler shoulder pads, my New York Giants pants, my Saints jersey, my Falcons helmet. I mean, looking pretty goofy. And the little leaguers would come in and needed the field, and I would have to defer and get off the field. It was humbling. It was real. And I would wait till they were done, and I would go back and I would kick 4 times a week. I did this for 20 months. 2005 turned to 2006. The phone is still not ringing. All my friends are going, "Hey, Morten, you might want to, do something else. This is, you've had a good run." And I said, "No, I'm 77." At that point, I was 77 points away from becoming the all-time leading scorer in the history of the game. I say, that's something that's worth going for. You can call that selfish or whatever, but that was my motivational, element to drive me. So I continued in the public park. And then I was sitting in my basement and it was the third game of the regular season there. In 2006, the Falcons kicker had a really bad day. He missed 4 field goals inside of 40 yards. And I was sitting there with my buddy Eric. We were having a couple pops watching the game. I said, "I'm switching to water now because the phone's going to ring." He goes, "Phone's not going to ring. It hasn't rang in 20 years. I mean, 20 months." I said, thank God it wasn't 20 years. 20 months. I said, "It's going to ring, man. I'm telling you. And I'm ready." Now, imagine if I had not trained and not been ready. The phone rings. "Can you come tomorrow for a workout?" Yes, I can. So I just plug and play. Now, I think it's just me, and they want to see if the leg's attached to the hip. Well, it's me, and then it's 4 of the guys. I'm 46 years old at the time. Like, wrap your head around that one. 46. These guys are 23, half my age. I call them flat bellies because that's what they were, flat bellies. So we got 4 flat bellies and, a semi-pudgy 46-year-old guy trying to make it. And we had 15 kicks. It was mano a mano, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and back again.
Pressure.
And who makes it? There was an orange stripe in the middle of the net. It signaled the middle. Now, I like the middle. I aim for the middle. You know why I do that? Never changes. The middle never changes. I hit that orange stripe 13 times. The 14th time, it kind of grazed, and one was still in there, but didn't hit the. So I was feeling pretty good. So I was feeling good. I could see the flat bellies kind of dejected. And I turned around, and all the scouts and the GM was standing there. And I said, "Questions, anyone?" And the special teams coach said, "Yeah, I have a question. Black or blue ink?" I said, "I'll take black ink." So I went up and signed my 1-year deal. And 3 months later, in the Georgia Dome, I became the all-time leading scorer in the history of the game.
Wow. Wow.
So, is it worth it to embrace yourself into the world of suck and go through humility and distasteful experiences? I think so. Without me becoming the all-time leading scorer that started here at Ben Davis High School, without me becoming the all-time leading scorer, I don't have a goal. I'm not in the Hall of Fame. So that's just one example, one life experience where you have choices. And the choice for me was to be proactive. I knew it was a marathon and not a sprint, and to grind it out and just let the game come to me. And that's another real important point. Don't play the game, let the game come to you. Be prepared. Be so prepared that whatever comes to you, you're ready to plug and play.
So we have a special treat for you as well as the students as well. We try to always go live from our museum in Canton, Ohio, so you can see that that bronze bust.
That would be cool.
So I'm going to send it to my teammate who is back in Canton, Ohio, Nathan Martin. He's in a special location. And Nathan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here, Jerry. Thank you so much for sending it to me here at the museum. Excited to come live for our students that are tuning in and for you there, Mr. Morten Andersen. We're here, class of 2017. Here's your bronze bust. It might look a little familiar, a little bit younger version of yourself, but it still looks very much like you today. But to put it in perspective for our students of how special it is to have one of these bronze busts, to have the gold jacket that you're wearing today, you know, there have been over 350 million people that have played the game of football at any level, whether that's Pop Warner middle school, it's high school football, 350 million. Only about 5 million have been talented enough, blessed with the opportunity to play in college. So even just playing college sports is a tremendous accomplishment. Of that 5 million or so, there's about 30,000 that have played or coached or administered the game professionally. And with our new class, there's 382 that are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that'll have these bronze busts and the gold jacket. And you're one of them. And you're talking to the students about preparation. You talked about staying prepared through those 20 months so that you could become the all-time leading scorer. You're one of really only 2 full-time kickers that are here in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's your resume. That's what people are going to remember. They're going to remember the Hall of Fame. They're going to remember all-time leading scorer. But I want to ask you, Morten, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be remembered by? What do you want your legacy to be?
I think to be a kind human being, honestly. Treat people with respect, despite our differences, and just to be kind and to make a positive difference by the way I am every day, consistently. If you know, be a good father, be a good husband, be a good friend, that's really it.
I love that. I love that. It would be so easy to be like, dude, I'm wearing a gold jacket. I want people to remember that I'm in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I want people to remember I was the all-time leading scorer in the NFL. But what you said there, I think, is so powerful because every student listening, myself included, we all can be the things that you mentioned. We all can be kind. We all can be great sons or daughters, you know, husband or wives, whatever our role might be in our family. We can be remembered as people that had good character. And I love that that's your goal and what you want your legacy to be. And hopefully our students feel challenged to make that their own goal. And it'll be something that they want to make their own legacy. But Morten, thank you so much for doing the program with us today. And hopefully you appreciated being able to check out this bronze bust. But
That
Jerry.
was the mid-career mullet, I think.
Okay, yeah, the mid-career mullet.
Mid-career mullet. Yeah. There you
When the
go.
when the program's done, ask Jerry about his mullet. He had a mid-career mullet too. But hey, back to you guys. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Nathan.
The business in the front, the party in the back.
We'll show that afterwards. We're not going to include
Tennessee
that one.
waterfall, man. Yeah.
So other questions from here. We do have one from YouTube Live, but we got another one here. Who wants? Go ahead. Go ahead and step up.
Hey, man.
Carrying like a certain amount of pride and think you're the best on the field, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Which one do you think is better?
So the question is pride versus having some confidence.
I think they can go together. You can marry the both of those and do it together. I think pride in what you do, pride in who you are, your family should drive you. The suck should hopefully intimidate you a little bit and motivate you to go to a place others are not willing to go. Does that make sense?
Great. I think we had two more. Let's go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
My name's Lewis.
Hi, Lewis.
From a young age, did you envision yourself becoming like a pro athlete, or was that a dream that kind of developed later on?
I wanted to be a soccer player, a professional soccer player and team handball player, which is an Olympic sport. And I think I could have probably gone that route had I stayed in Denmark, but I'm just so thankful for this experience coming to the States. And once I was at Ben Davis, I had no clue. I thought I was going home after 10 months, and then 3 months into it, you know, these kicks were going through. Our team was winning. We were winning, and colleges started coming. Now this was way before NIL money. There was none of that. I wish there'd been some of that, but there wasn't. That's a whole nother world now. But I had no aspirations until probably my sophomore year in college. I knew I had a chance because people started coming to look at me and talking up, you know, I was All-American and things like that. It started snowballing a little bit. But it wasn't a goal of mine. The goal was just to be as great as I could be. Results will come. Just immerse yourself in the process.
Let me interject one, and then you have one as well. So this is from our YouTube audience. Questions asked is, what has kept you motivated throughout your journey / career? What's kept you motivated? What's kept you going?
Curiosity, you know, asking the questions and just how do I become better? Like always, like a desire to improve. And I'll go back to that 89 season where I hit that performance plateau. Okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to react? Am I going to be proactive, or I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing? And so I think the willingness to adapt, to change, to find new ways to train, new ways to perform, you know, it was surrounding myself with people that were really smart at what they did. I had a sports psychologist, good massage therapist, chiropractors, you know, a mental coach, trainers, you name it. I mean, we had one of the things I did from a very beginning, I had our equipment guys weld goalposts that were 8 feet wide. Now, normally they're, I think, 18.6 or 16.8. I can't remember. Anybody know? 16.8 or 18.6 wide. Pro goalposts. Google that for me. No. So we had 8-foot goalposts. So Monday through Saturday, I was kicking on 8-foot goalposts. Imagine the perspective when you get to Sunday and game day and you have this, huge, but you've been kicking on this. You know, Santayana was a Portuguese philosopher. He said, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. Make it difficult in practice. So the 8-foot goalpost served a couple of purposes. They made me really sharp and accurate. They also intimidated guys that were coming in to take my job. There's always over 600 guys that try to take my job in 25 years. You know, that nameplate slides in and out real easy. You don't own that. You don't own that nameplate. You know, they can replace you. So it was my job to keep it. And the 8-foot goalpost, when these guys would come in, they would look around. They're like, where where are the real goalposts? And my equipment guys would say, well, Mr. Anderson likes to kick on these, and that was game over. They just they couldn't hang with it, and it was just one of the tools that I try to use to get better, and also maybe to intimidate a little bit.
Well, our live fact checkers just texted me and said it's 18-6. So.
18-6. Okay, thank you.
Right up front here.
Hi, Bailey.
But I wanted to know how you adjusted to like change. Like I want to know how you kept a good mentality through those.
So how to adjust to change.
Yeah, so the best example I can give you there is after 13 years in New Orleans, I was coming back from Europe from a vacation. And this was back when there was answering machines, a big machine that, anyway, you guys don't know what that is, but they were there. They were separate from the phone, believe me. So I had no way of, remote check, and I didn't know how to do it. So I come back from Europe. I have like 8 messages from my agent. Hey man, call me. So I call him. I'm jet lagged. He goes, the Saints are going to release you tomorrow. They want to cut your salary. I was making $1 million a year. They want to cut you to 600,000, and they want to sign another player for the 400 they save on you. I'm like, what? I'm out. No, let's go. So change was coming quickly. So the Falcons already had been in touch with the Greg because they had found out that the Saints were going to do this move. So we made a deal with the Falcons, doubled my salary, new signing bonus and everything, and I was gone the next day. Change. So it reignited me, to be honest. In 1995, I had one of my best years. I had 8 field goals over 50 yards, 3 against the Saints. That was a fun one. When you get released in the NFL, they give you a letter with some boxes. They got to check one, and they had checked declining player competition better. So I had kept that note from the Saints. After the game in the Georgia Dome where I kicked 350 yard, it was 55, 55, and 51. I took that, I copied it. I wrote 55 left hash, 55 right hash, 51 middle. I signed it. I went declining player ? And I faxed it to him. Never heard from him. Revenge is best served nice and cold. But best served without saying anything. Just do. I don't know if I answered your change question, but yeah.
So let me sneak in a couple personal ones here. So the Great Dane.
Yeah.
Where'd it come from? How'd you get it?
I'm from Denmark, the Great Dane, it wasn't that big a reach for the press to kind of wrap themselves around that one. So, the Great Dane lifts his leg again and all this. Those were all funny takes on it.
Can you talk about your organization, Morten Andersen Global? What's that mean to you? What do you guys do? Share with the students a little bit about
well,
that.
Morten Andersen Global is my for-profit sub S, and we do golf tournaments, my appearances and everything. So that's more on the for-profit side. My nonprofit is Morten Andersen Family Foundation, and we started that in 2008. I was in New York with the Giants during 9/11 and saw firsthand what happened in New York at the Trade Center, the World Trade Center, and experienced all that, had people that died in the towers. So I got really mad, and I said, well, how can I help in my little world? And I knew a bunch of special ops guys, Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Marines, and I decided to create an event called Special Teams for Special Ops, golf tournament and a dinner and an auction, and we raised in 10 years over $2.5 million for these guys and their families. So that became meaningful to me. So the Morten Andersen Family Foundation is a nonprofit, and we give funds to a variety of causes. Boys and Girls Club is one of them.
So, do we have another one here? We got time for one more, and then I've got a couple that I'd interject. Is there anybody else that has a question here? Yeah, go ahead. Stand up nice and loud.
coming over here, basically, Ben Davis didn't have a soccer team in 1977. We do now, right? Yeah, I mean, I could say, well, I wish they had, but now I'm kind of glad they didn't, because my journey would have been completely different. Think about that, because I wouldn't have been playing football, I would have been playing soccer.
Yeah, that's so true.
So, man, it's so crazy, your destiny. And, to that point, it's like, you got to seize opportunities. You have a few defining moments in your life that come. And sometimes when we're young, we just don't know. We don't know if we should get on the train or stay on the train station. But train is leaving either way. And so that was one defining moment, was at Ben Davis High School, understanding that this was something I could become good at. And then there were a couple of other defining moments: Saints, Falcons, getting through college, defining moments. How do you choose? How do you handle it? Getting drafted. 20 months in a park, defining moment, big time. Without those 20 months and embracing that world of suck, no chance any of this happens. So the soccer thing could have happened had I not come to the States, or maybe to a different high school that had a soccer team. But I was meant to be at Ben Davis High School and be a Purple Giant.
So
here's to old Ben Davis. Hi, love you. Yes, I do. On cue.
So a wise man once said, appreciate your todays before you look to your tomorrows. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think live in listen, there's no other place we could possibly be than right here, right now. So why wouldn't we make right here, right now?
It's a Marv Levy right there.
Great. Is it?
That's a Marv Levy. Where would you rather be than right here, right now?
I mean, there's no other way to look at it, guys. Don't wish for tomorrow. Tomorrow come. But what we do today determines our life quality. Live today, live today, live today with kindness and love and affection and passion. Be passionate about what you guys do. Do it with gusto, do it 100%. I can't emphasize that enough. It sounds maybe a little cornball, but I just really, I know that if I hadn't had like the determination and the will to go places that were uncomfortable, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have accomplished what I did. And you guys could do the same. Absolutely.
So we've got a few minutes left. I've got two questions for you and then closing remark from you. And it's really about what you are wearing right now. The Hager Gold jacket and I love the socks.
We got the Hager. We got 304.
What's the jacket mean to you? What's the jacket, the Hager Gold jacket?
There's three symbols of inclusion in the hall. The bust that you saw. There's a ring made by
K Jewelers.
It's supposed to symbol a team in the middle, a stadium. Blue is for integrity, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
And then it has a miniature bust, replica of the bust, my name, my position, and the years I played. And inside there's an arbor marker with the Hall of Fame seal. So that's pretty cool. Except when you shake hands, it crushes you. But and then the jacket, of course, you got 304, which is my induction number, named the class of 17. And I only wear this on official Hall of Fame business. I don't wear it in my basement unless the kids won't listen. I take it on and say, hey, who's got the gold jacket?
Well, you have to answer both, because I was going to ask you about both items. So what, you shared a lot here today. And so is there anything you'd either like to reiterate with the young people here, or something you might be thinking about now you're like, I'd like to share just to close the program out?
Just be curious about life, guys. Be curious and willing to improve on a daily basis, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Go ahead and fail. Failing is important. Just fail forward, learn from it, and go. I think that's the takeaway I want to give you is just be vigilant and be curious and be steadfast and disciplined, and have the courage to go where others are not willing to go. Appreciate you guys so much. Thanks, friends.
And with that, this wraps up our latest installment of the Heart of Hall of Famer series featuring class of 2017 Hall of Famer, Mr. Morten Andersen. And so students that are here live, students that are tuned in remotely, thank you for connecting in. Thank you for the great questions here live. And this concludes our program.